Hello, assembly. Hello, night people.
Hello, people who still haven't found the drinks at Assembly. Nice to
We,
hear you.
yeah, we are here talking about a thing, and I think you are the person to tell the audience what's the thing.
Yeah, so one of the things what we want to talk in the next 15 minutes is actually that we want to bring the demo scene as first digital culture on the list of UNESCO Intangible World Cultural Heritage. It's a long list, it's a long name, but the purpose is really about telling and sharing the story about the demo scene. It's a living, breathing thing, where it came from, where it is now today. Actually, yeah, bringing people into the scene, maybe.
And that word in English, it's horrible. I can't pronounce it, but in Finnish, just in case, it means aineettoman kulttuuriperinnön lista. And that's an international thing we are trying to do. We are doing individual campaigns in different countries, and we choose individual campaigns. We try to make one big common campaign and get the demo scheme into the UNESCO list as a common thing, worldwide thing that's worth knowing, worth researching, worth preserving.
Exactly, because of course, I mean, everybody who is from the scene knows, and also people who share and enjoy what the scene has been doing for the last almost 30 years, um, know that the scene was very early there in digital culture. It was always something which was on one hand like on the beginning of like the digital culture. So of course the scene, also the cracker scene, was before actually even the web, the World Wide Web was invented, all of that. And it was from the beginning, like in a sense, when digital culture came up, like games, etc. It was already there and was a playground for something, and which is to playground, to learn, to grow, to play around, and to build communities across countries. And so that's why it's super important, at least I think for all of us, that it's an international thing, that's an international application, that in many countries we try to push forward to, that in many countries an application to get onto the national list is happening, and then if there's some countries where we are on the national list of intangible culture, then we can say, great, this is actually where we want to be. Let's have the international application to put the demo scene where it actually can be.
And as we know, demo scheme is a really varied thing. There are lots of things in it. There are the demos, there's the competitions, the events, there are graphic artists, coders. Coding is art form as itself. There are two-line competition. There are so many things and releases taking place, being published. But it's also about the people, how the people communicate, how the demo scheme communication has changed from the early letters to the disc magazines, how the disc magazines in the 80s, in the 90s, how they show the demo scheme culture, the people, and how it's now. What kind of all the things that the demo scheme people do, what they make.
And I think that's a really important thing. So it's not about saying what the demo scene is, because the demo scene is always evolving. It's always changing. It's always bringing in new things. But it's also, so it's not about defining what the demo scene is in this application, because then it would be defining, okay, it is like that kind of style or that thing. That's not what it's about. It's really about saying the demo scene is this very playful, chaotic, lovely, emergent culture in a sense, which is always changing. And actually, this is something which is super important. Actually, to keep it open in other connected cultures, for example, in the hacker spaces, maker spaces. So we have many people around here which could actually also join the scene and do demos. Why not? So actually, really reaching out, and on the other hand, also making sure that we actually don't lose our heritage, our history, that we start writing down more and more professionally, the history of where we came from and what's the motivation.
And we here saw the demo from the Hack Lab Finland. The demo skin, it has no limits. It can be anything. It could be, it will be, it is anything that people do. It's about two-blind competition. It's about this one effect competition. There is so much more than the actual big main demos, main releases. And that's the thing we are trying to help to, let's say, not just preserve. Okay, demoscene doesn't need preservation. Demoscene lives on, goes on, it evolves, it changes. And that's one of the things about this, insert the horrible word, cultural heritage, evolution. It's about the evolution of a culture. Something that keeps on changing. Demoscene keeps on changing all the time. We have seen amazing new things, amazing new ideas even today in the competitions.
And so this is actually where we also want to open the conversation here. So this is really an initiative which is starting right now. So this is really something where we say, okay, it's not about us two or the people around us, like defining what it is, but really starting a conversation here. If you've seen the conversation today on the Scrolly stage, there's, for example, asking into the different communities what people think, what the demo scene is, and what it means for everybody, because everybody has a different story. I mean, I will never forget the first moment when I had my modem attached to some landline, and maybe I got then friends around who helped me not paying the prices, which was, and then first I'm talking to Sysop in a totally different country, when that person was answering, like it's like someone on the other computer. You can't tell that if you can't. You have to share these stories, and everybody has these stories that everybody has a personal moment, how to get into the scene, what the culture of the demo scene means to someone. So it's not about defining it, but being really super open and starting from here, reaching out to the community and asking, okay, what's your thing, and who might be interested in the different countries to file an application for UNESCO as well, while we are still doing it.
And let's open about the process. So we need people from all the different countries to participate. There are the national organizations or national movements that we will need. And each country, they will find somebody who is coordinating the process, the local application, and finding people to write the application and to support the application. So that's one thing we did. Each country will need local people to work on it, and also, let's say, clearly support from the demo groups.
Absolutely.
It might not be anything fancy. It's just a word from some group that, okay, we are behind this, we support you with our name. This is a great thing you are doing. It doesn't need to be any more complicated.
Exactly. So it's really like these two levels. So like writing the application. So right now in Germany, we're starting to write an application which we will share with everybody, ask for the feedback, etc. And also people in others see, okay, is this the same history in our country or not? Because this is a bit like how UNESCO works. It works always on national level. Even the demo scene is, of course, we know it's a European, it's an international thing, it's a transnational thing. So it's really, our identity is kind of yeah, we are demosceners, and actually, so, but for UNESCO, of course, we have to say each country where there's a group of people, yeah, who feel, okay, we want to support this, they can use our first draft, write their own versions, etc. And then, yeah, that's like the next steps actually, to find people who are saying, yes, I'm interested in that, to volunteer. That's like a little more work. And then on the other level, everybody who's in the scene who says, yes, this is a good thing, we're really, we also need to show to UNESCO this is something what the scene likes and supports, etc. So every group who says, sure, we like this, of course, discuss first internally, seems to be okay, and then please send us your logos, reach out, see, talk to us, like that we can step together in this direction.
And right now we have people and organizations in Finland, Germany, Denmark, Poland who are actively participating, and we need people from even more countries, other countries. There are so many other countries in Europe who are into demoscene, and just somebody who will coordinate the local thing and get people together and get people to work together writing the local applications.
Exactly. So, we have this website, demoscene, the art of coding. We thought to focus, especially to the outside, on the art of coding, but in the end, it's the art of doing. So the demoscene does stuff. It's not only about coding. We know there's graphicians, musicians, etc. So we don't want to say no, that's not relevant. But to the outside, it's really the speciality of the coding. And you find like kind of the national contact points. It doesn't mean that these people are only in charge of the application, but they say, okay, we want to push forward. So we have that in those 4 countries, but we have also interest in other countries. So if you think, yes, we want to push forward, then that's definitely the place where you find the contact addresses to get in touch with us.
And after that, there will be the multinational application for UNESCO itself. We get it. It's multi-year. We are working with this on the long run. We might not make it. We probably won't make it in the first attempt,
Yeah.
but we will make it eventually. Because right now, this cultural heritage thing, it's quite weird. Let's say there's lots of funny things there. There's Finnish sauna. There's some really weird Finnish things
Yeah,
that
also.
are in aineetonta, whatever. But demoscene, there is nothing digital.
Exactly. It
So
would be the first time that there's no esports, there's no games, there's no online communities, virtual worlds, whatever. There's so many things which might make sense actually to say, hey, wait, seen as we're from that, and that's our background and our history is of course something we can say, wait, this is such a unique culture. We have so many things which are unique. It's not only the coding, but also on the cultural level, everyday culture. It's like presenting demos. You can only submit a demo once and for all at one party. It's digital. Why do we have that? We chose that it is like that. You can only submit at one party. And then, yes, that's it. That's your one chance. It doesn't have to be like that. But there's so many things. There's hundreds of things which make the demo scene special. And so I think, for example, from a German perspective, like UNESCO in Germany already gave us good signs, actually, yes, it is a good time to try, because they also understand taking digital culture seriously.
And actually in Finland also some of the big organizations the more cultural organizations, they have said that this is really interesting and we should do it in Finland as well. But we will see. We will make the local applications. We will get to the point when we make the global application, and because if we get as many countries as possible to participate, the more countries we have representatives, the more countries we have applications from, the better chances there will
Exactly.
be.
And that's the point. The more countries join, I think the more it represents the scene, because the scene is in many countries, it's again, and the higher the chances are. So please join us, please support us, reach out, also criticize if you think, there's maybe things. That's really, the conversation starts right now, and that's the point. This is like a starting point.
Yeah, and we have like under 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes left to say why we should do this. Does demoscene need this project?
That's a good point.
No, demoscene doesn't need it, but demoscene can get advantage from it.
Exactly.
We can use it.
Exactly. It's not about that the demo scene need to be culture. Of course, we know that. That's not a thing. But it might help, of course, like preserving the culture, like helping also official institutions, in a sense, putting funds on actually doing research, supporting people who are already in the scene, working on preserving the culture. I mean, we have many online archives over the time, but supporting from that side. For example, in Denmark, like the Danish Royal Library is supporting or interested to support Finnish Museum of Games. There's so many institutions who are actually keen on taking up the ball, in a sense, to support preserving demoscene culture. If the scene says yes, of course, it's also our mission. And second reason is, of course, it might help to look right now, attract new people left and right, like in other communities, like in the hacker makerspace. So we have some here. I mentioned that already. And third point, something where lost the point.
Well, it's not taking anything away from demoscene. It's not changing anything we are doing, but it can help us to do more things, different
Exactly.
things, to research, for example, to do some proper history writing, to interview people. If we get a possibility to do some historical research project, help preserving information about the history of a group, of a demo, of some country's local demoscene
Exactly.
culture, that's the possibility.
Like really doing interviews, sitting down with people. And the point I lost, of course, it helps also actually demo party organizers, people in the scene, talk to institutions if they wonder maybe to raise funds or get support. It helps as well, probably, if you need that. Many demo parties run on themselves, but it's also nice to have extra funds to give actually into the competitions for people who produce the demos. And so that's also something.
Okay, so we are now officially out of time.
That's wonderful.
Yes, so everybody out there, Google demoscene art of coding.
Yeah.
You will find the website. You will find some information from there. You will find the local contact points for the countries that are now officially in, and you will find the contact information for you for new countries who would be interested in joining us. Thank you, Art of Coding, for the demoscene.
Thank you very much.